Aloha everyone, Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com. I hope you all had a very profitable past week. But as the title of this video lesson suggests, it was another kind of week for me. This has basically been the way for about a month now, it seems like, because according to my profit and loss statement, it flattened out and started to roll over a little bit about 2 weeks ago, but it just continued to roll over and flatline a little bit. And that's even with a couple of good stocks, because even though it seems like everything that I'm getting long is failing, the size still remains small in everything because I'm still not raising any capital from stocks that I'm currently long that are actually working. So it's been a very weird 2 to 3 weeks to 1 month. But I believe that it's because it's quite possible the market's about to roll over. Now, I said it last week that the hourly Ticketz indicator was pointing to a market that wanted to roll over, but I also forgot to mention that if we don't roll over, if we stay weak like this and then reclaim the zero line and we can retest the 50 once we're above it, that would be very bullish. However, ever since we tried to bounce here on Monday, we remained under the zero line on the SPY. The QQQ is the exact same carbon copy. It's the exact same chart. We went lower. We actually ticked lower on the Ticketz indicator. Even though we went up slightly on Wednesday, we ticked lower again on the Ticketz indicator. And we ended out the week on a low note with another tick lower in the Ticketz indicator. And you can see that in the SPY. And as I said, the QQQ, it's the exact same thing. No surprise, because over the past 4 days, the market is down a little bit, but it's not like we're seeing any positive divergence on the hourly time frame. We have now twice, or actually it's multiple times just by looking at the QQQ, over the 50 SMA. We tried to get above it, broke down here. We stayed weak below the zero line, got back above the 50 SMA, barely did anything, got below it, tried to get back above it, got below it, tried to get back above it, and now we're below it again. So it appears that the market's weakening and wants to roll over. And then I also want to show you that for the first time since the rally off the lows on the daily time frame, we have a minor, ever so minor, and it means nothing unless you get follow through on price, a slight downtick in the Ticketz indicator on the daily time frame, and that's the very first time we've seen a downtick at all since the actual April lows. And it's just not the QQQ, it's also the SPY. However, despite the market basically, it's been now actually almost a full month where we've slightly moved higher. We're barely higher, and my account flatline and rolled over. Um, it my personal trading tells me a lot about the market. When I get long stocks and they work immediately and are just producing gains, there's nothing to be worried about. Like, so I am long some winners. You got QUBT. We're still up 41% on the position. This one is acting beautifully, right? RKLB. I still have a piece of this position. It's currently up 19%. It looks great. So QUBT, RKLB look great. And then a very small position, sadly, that I have is S&T. Hey, I wish it was bigger. This was a very nice chart whenever I went long. Mentioned how nice the chart looked, but it's a lower price stock. There's not really the kind of fundamental growth that I like to see to really want to I'm going to load the boat on this one. So S&T isn't a huge position, and it's up 21%. Well, not only that, the stocks that I try to be too cute on, that I missed the limit order on, EAT continues to run for me. And then last Friday, I gave you guys two new long signals. One was CRCL, and it gapped up way past my 1% limit offset, which means the order has to be canceled when that's the case, and it can't come back on until it trades below the trigger price that I gave you guys on Friday and trades higher. That never happened, and chasing almost never works. But whenever I don't chase, there's a nice 60, let's pretend like it would have opened lower and then traded up and through. There's a nice 79% gain in 4 days. It's pretty good, right? Well, what was the other one I gave you guys? SAIL. Notice there's no white triangle on this chart. Notice there's a white triangle on this chart. So it's not a big loss. It's only 3%. Like I said, wasn't able to get a lot of capital into it because all the buying power is currently involved with stocks that are working, but with most of them just going nowhere or slowly drifting higher, like Dash. Dash is just slowly drifting higher. I wish I had more capital in RKLB and QUBT, but unfortunately, stocks like Dash, Spot, bigger companies are going to obviously get more capital. But there's also been a lot of triggers, fills, and immediate fails. And it happened again following Wednesday session. I got 2 new long signals. One of them was an ALAB. Now, members know if it gaps up above the limit offset, which would have been basically with this one, you add $1. The high of the day is 99.66, which means your limit offset is 166. It opened at 170, so it's like splitting hairs. So chances are you would have been filled anyway. But members know if it gaps up, you're not supposed to get long the overnight swings unless they trade below the previous day high day. So once it trades below 99.66, you can call on that buy stop. And then if it triggers up and through it, you can use the low day as your stop. That never happened on ALAB, but it didn't gap up enough to warrant a pause of the trade. So I triggered, filled, and it hasn't failed yet. My final stop is down here, especially because of the low position size. But it's yet again another stock on the swing side that's showing me a good setup that triggers, fills, and basically immediately fails. It's not me, it's you kind of situation with the stock market. I believe based on the index charts we're looking at with the SPY QQQ, the way the market's trading, based on also the way that my new long positions have been acting on the swing side, it's kind of indicative of a market that actually probably wants to trade lower in the short term. Still looks good, but we did have a distribution day on Friday in the SPY. We also had a distribution day in the QQQ. So all of this kind of raises my very short-term red flags. Weekly time frame looks great. Wonderful. I would enjoy a pullback. That would actually give us a nice V-shaped cup with high handle pattern, or actually a cup with handle pattern that forms, and we'd also get one on the SPY. So I welcome a short-term pullback, but why I still think we're going to get that short-term pullback is based on that Ticketz indicator that I showed you and just the performance of recent new long positions. So with all that being said, I do have a new trade idea for Monday morning, but it's not one of these high growth stocks. It is an insurance stock. It's hurricane season, so all of this makes sense to me. And I saw Lemonade make a strong move on Friday. This is good. This looks beautiful. I wish that base, that handle, would have been a bit longer, but and wouldn't have been so V-shaped with that little mini breakdown two sessions ago. But it's still a breakout. It looks good. Well, I have a legitimate signal off the 50 and 21 EMA and 50 SMA in WRB. So WRB is a high quality insurance stock, has a 95 composite rating, 87 earnings per share rating, 88 relative strength rating. Earnings happened a couple of months ago, so we have a full month before earnings. And this is just a nice high volume move off the 21 EMA right above the 50 SMA with a confirmation in BOP. So with this one, because I still, despite trades really not working the past 2 weeks, still have a very little capital to work with. Whatever capital I have on hand, it's going into WRB above the high of the day, 1% limit offset. So 73.86 times 1%, that's going to be my limit. And I'm going to be risking to this low right here. You could also use the dynamic 50 SMA. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, everybody. We'll get back at it on Monday.